For last topic of today, yes, we are doing 4 because there is an extra topic I wanted to talk about. Amazon. This is something that was barely reported on, and as always, I'll leave a link to this article in the description below. Over 364 employees. The article states 364 at the time of writing, so there may be more at this point, have issued public statements criticizing Amazon's support of the oil and gas industry, as well as climate-denying think tanks. The group has called themselves the Amazon Employees for Climate Justice. Here's what's noteworthy about this whole story. Back in September of 2019, Amazon changed its rules on external communications after the group revealed it would stage a walkout in support of the global climate strike. Jeff Bezos then stated Amazon will work towards relying solely on renewables by 2030 and having net zero emissions by 2040. Then, Amazon implemented this rule change conveniently, where employees are not allowed to talk about the company's business without prior approval from management. At least 2 employees have been threatened with being fired for publicly criticizing Amazon's environmental policy simply for providing quotes to the Washington Post, which is also owned by Amazon, about how Amazon's cloud computing business contributes to oil and gas company exploration. The Amazon Employees for Climate Justice wrote a letter in support of these employees, which, let me read you a piece here. Quote, "Don't get us wrong, some comms policies make a ton of sense, i.e. for confidential projects, but allowing a corporation to silence us on its contribution to the climate crisis is a clear overreach of comms policy and effectively demands we give up our basic humanity and integrity in order to be employees. And it's not just about climate, it's also about our ability to speak up on other issues like racism and sexism in tech, treatment of warehouse workers, donations to anti-LGBTQ politicians, and complicity with ICE. Amazon has rebutted by saying that the employees are welcome to talk about anything inside the company and should voice their opinions at company meetings and lunches with executives, but they are dead set on enforcing their external communications policies. Spokesperson JC Anderson told CNBC, quote, "While all employees are welcome to engage constructively with any of the many teams inside Amazon that work on sustainability and other topics, we do enforce our external communications policies and will not allow employees to publicly disparage or misrepresent the company or the hard work of their colleagues who are developing solutions to these hard problems." But here's the thing. If these employees aren't misrepresenting or publicly disparaging the company with lies, then they should be able to talk about this freely by your own policy, no? Let's be honest, Amazon doesn't exactly have the best track record when it comes to treating their employees right, and they have been known to repeatedly lie about the things that go on in those dreadful Amazon warehouses. For example, people having to pee in bottles. That very embarrassing anti-union video. Employees getting hurt and told not to report their injuries. Pretty sure that's illegal. Employees getting fired for not meeting pick rates when, in reality, pick rates continuously go up until the employee can no longer physically meet them, just to have an excuse to fire them and replace them with someone fresh. Amazon drivers told to skip lunches to meet delivery deadlines. The list goes on and on. So what makes me believe Amazon when they say, oh, we'll be relying on renewables in 2030 and carbon neutral by 2040? Or that employees who work there shouldn't misrepresent the hard work of their colleagues who are developing solutions to these hard problems? Amazon, as the largest, if not one of the largest multinational corporation out there, does have a role to play in fixing climate change. All of these multinational corporations do. As much damage as they do, they can also turn that around and use their wealth and power to undo that damage. The question here is, are they willing to be a part of the solution? Or, like in my Costa Rica story, will people stand up and government step in and make them a part of the solution? We are running out of time, and as scientists continue to ring the alarm bells, nothing is getting done. I know I'm a broken record, I talk about this a lot, but I will continue to talk about this and keep bringing awareness to climate change until it is finally addressed.
And one of our viewers, as we begin with the first of your questions, Albert Couillard, said, Are there two sides today? What are both sides?
Well, the perception of both sides is in the public mind, and that's where there appears to be a debate about whether or not it's really happening. In the scientific community, there is no debate.
It's clear.
Clear. On the public side, there's been a very well-organized and well-funded campaign that we now know was funded by an oil company to put doubt in the public mind by saying, well, you know, maybe not, maybe not. On the scientific side, the United Nations went to the scientific community in 1988, and they asked the same question. Is climate change real? Are humans affecting it? And they gathered together the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC. They gathered 1,300 scientists from 50 countries, representing every climate part of the Earth, the entire Earth. And they asked them not to do original research. They said, why don't you gather all the research you can find that's already been published, that's already been through the scientific rigor? Gather it all together and tell us what you see. So they did that. Then they gathered this stuff together, they put that out for scientific review, and then they put out a report. And the majority, the overwhelming majority of all of them said, yes, it's true, it's going up, and humans are responsible for some of it.
I've seen it, I've read some of it, and it's fine.
They say economic impact is devastating.
Yeah, I don't believe it. No, I don't believe it.
A lot of these scientists are driven by the money that they receive.
The report is nothing more than a rehash of age-old 10 to 20-year assumptions made by scientists that get paid to further the politics of global warming.
We have created a climate change industrial complex in this country with billions and billions and billions of dollars at stake. A lot of people are getting really, really, really rich off the climate change issue.
Catherine, are you just rolling in the dough? Is that why you're doing this? You're just cashing in?
Rolling on the floor laughing is more like it. I got paid $0 to write this report. My salary would have been exactly the same if I had or hadn't. And if I were studying astrophysics like I used to, I'd probably get exactly the same salary as well. The reality is, I've found, is that people often accuse us of doing what they would do themselves in our position.